In this video, I'm going to share something every student has felt but never fully understood. Why does learning on your own through a short YouTube video, a documentary, or even a random reel feel so much easier than sitting through a full school day? Have you noticed that you can watch a 10-minute video about space and remember every single fact, yet after a 1-hour physics lecture, your brain goes completely blank? Why is that? Are we lazy? Or is something fundamentally wrong with the way we're taught? Let me tell you a quick story. Last year, a student named Ahmed was preparing for his math exam. He watched one short animation explaining trigonometry in just 8 minutes, and suddenly everything clicked. But when he opened his school book, the same topic looked like a wall of alien symbols. Ahmed thought, maybe I'm just not smart enough for school. But here's the twist. It wasn't his intelligence. It was the system. If you've ever felt that learning online, in real life, or through videos feels easier than school, you are absolutely right. And today, we're going to break down exactly why. Because if learning is supposed to be the same everywhere, then why does this feel easier than school? Let's decode it. The environment and engagement effect. When you're at school, your brain is constantly surrounded by pressure grades, rules, noise, and comparison. In that environment, your amygdala, the brain's stress center, is always active. It sends your body a signal that says, you're being judged. And when your brain thinks you're under threat, it shuts down creativity and curiosity. But when you watch an engaging video or learn something voluntarily, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical that boosts attention and memory. You're relaxed. You're in control. You choose to learn not because you have to, but because you want to. That small difference changes everything. In school, you're forced to sit and listen. Online, you explore. In school, the bell tells you when to stop. Outside, curiosity never rings the bell. That's why you can binge watch 10 science videos at midnight and still feel energetic. But after one boring class, you feel drained. It's not laziness, it's psychology. Teaching style and freedom. Let's be honest. Most schools still use a 19th century system designed for factory workers, not thinkers. Everyone sits in rows. Everyone studies the same subjects at the same speed. But real learning doesn't happen in identical boxes. It happens when curiosity meets freedom. When you learn online, you can pause, rewind, take notes, or skip ahead. You have control. And control is one of the most powerful motivators in psychology. This is called autonomy learning. Studies from Stanford and Harvard show that when students feel autonomy, the sense that I'm choosing to learn this, their brain's motivation center, the striatum, becomes more active. In contrast, forced tasks activate stress pathways. Think about it. In school, when a teacher says, you have to memorize this chapter for tomorrow, your brain immediately builds resistance. But when you decide, let me understand how this works, you become unstoppable. That's why online learning often feels easier. It's not that the content is simpler. It's that you're driving the car instead of sitting in the passenger seat. The brain's reward system. Here's a fascinating truth. Your brain doesn't reward effort. It rewards progress. Every time you understand something new, you get a tiny hit of dopamine, which tells your brain, this is good. Keep going. Online platforms and real-life learning trigger that cycle constantly through visuals, stories, and quick wins. But school rarely gives that feedback. You might study for weeks, and only after an exam get a grade, sometimes negative feedback. That's like playing a game where you get your score a month later. Of course it feels boring. Psychologists call this the delayed reward trap. Our brain hates waiting for gratification. That's why quick, visual, story-based learning feels natural. It syncs perfectly with how our neurons reward understanding. So the next time someone says, you just like YouTube because it's easy, tell them the truth. It's not easier. It's effective. It's designed in a way your brain actually understands. Attention economy and the new brain era. Here's something few people talk about. We live in an era where your attention is the new currency. Platforms, teachers, and creators are competing for seconds of your focus. Good educational creators have mastered the art of cognitive engagement, short bursts of surprise, visuals, and emotion that keep the brain active. Meanwhile, Traditional classrooms rely on monotone lectures and passive note-taking. Modern neuroscience shows that the brain's reticular activating system, RAS, decides what to pay attention to. When something is emotionally charged, surprising, or visually dynamic, the RAS says, "This matters." When something is repetitive or emotionless, the RAS says, "Ignore it." That's why storytelling works better than memorization. That's why this video might stick in your memory more than an entire textbook chapter. So no, the internet didn't make learning easier. It just reminded us what real learning was always supposed to feel like. Now that you know why school feels harder, the question is, what can you do about it? We can't change the entire system overnight, but we can hack our way through it. Step 1. Become your own teacher. Don't wait for someone to explain everything. Use your school as a framework, but make YouTube, books, podcasts, and experience your real teachers. When something feels boring, find a version that sparks curiosity. You'll notice that once curiosity is lit, discipline follows automatically. Step 2. Turn learning into progress. Remember, your brain rewards progress, not pressure. Break your study goals into micro wins. Watch one concept video, write it in your own words. Teach it to a friend, that doubles retention. Celebrate small wins. Every small success trains your brain to love learning again. Step 3. Rewire your belief about school. School is not the enemy. It's just incomplete. The system gives you a base, but you have to build your own structure on top of it. Stop waiting for it to be inspiring. Make your mind the place where inspiration begins. Because the truth is, once you understand how learning truly works, you'll realize that school was never about grades. It was just a playground to test your ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Think about every successful creator, innovator, or entrepreneur you admire. They didn't escape learning, they escaped boring learning. They found ways to keep curiosity alive, even when the system didn't. You can do the same. Next time you feel like giving up on a subject, change your approach, not your dream. Ask yourself, how can I make this interesting for me? The moment you find your own method, learning becomes addictive. Because knowledge isn't meant to be forced, it's meant to be discovered. And when you take back control of how you learn, everything from math to life starts to make sense again. If this video helped you understand why learning sometimes feels easier outside school, then it's time to take action. I built studaraX.pk for people just like you, students who want to learn smarter, think deeper, and grow faster. So if you're ready to take charge of your own learning journey, hit that subscribe button right now. Because every week, we dive into powerful ideas about studying, focus, psychology, and the real science of success. And trust me, once you start seeing how your mind actually learns, you'll never look at school or exams the same way again. Join the community of learners who are turning confusion into clarity, stress into strategy, and study time into progress. Click subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's grow together. This is studaraX.pk, where we don't just study to pass exams. We study to understand life. Thanks for watching.